Okay, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a little guest with me.
Hi, everybody.
One of my best friends, Avery. And I have been friends since we were like, what, 10?
10 years old.
10 years old. Fun little story, our siblings are both married, so we'll be like
To each other.
Yeah, to each other. And so we'll like be aunts to the same kids. So we have a lot of history, a lot of fun years of friendship, and
Yep.
she's very wise. She carries a lot of wisdom with the Lord, and so I thought it'd be really fun to have her come onto the podcast. And we honestly don't really have a lot of ideas of what today looks like. We're just gonna let the Spirit come and flow, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, Avery, tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about us, what you're going into.
Okay. I just graduated high school and I'm going into YWAM. I'm not going to the same location that Carson went to. I'm going into the Orlando base.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of been having fun with that of our seasons kind of aligning in different ways. But yeah, super excited for that and the opportunity the Lord's been giving to me. The Lord's given me to be able to do YWAM and stuff like that. So that's my next step. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome, guys. Tell me just like a little bit about yourself.
About myself.
Yeah, like
I come from a big family. I live in Kansas. Can I say that?
yeah.
I live in Kansas, the good old Midwest.
Tell me there's maybe a 30-second testimony story.
30-second testimony story. I accepted the Lord when I was 2, so he's always been a huge part of my life. Being split, living in 2 places, I obviously loved Florida more. That's where me and Carson kind of align. And
if you guys aren't aware, I think you guys are pretty aware, but I'm a snowbird. We do winters in Florida, and she does winters in Florida with me as well.
yes, that's how we got close. But living in Kansas is definitely a very dry and sleepy place in like the landscape, but also in the Holy Spirit and like how the Lord is here. And so I think the biggest part of my testimony is being in a place that is so quiet and having to learn what it looks like to keep my fire in relationship with the Lord when there's nobody else feeding it but me.
Yeah, we both have like kind of a similar life. In Florida, we're very involved in our church. We have an amazing community down there and just like on fire for the Lord. But then we both separately go back for the summers and like the fall to Ohio and Kansas. And there's so much beauty in those and beautiful family and community, but it definitely is just a different season with the Lord. It's a lot more quiet. It's a lot more just a personal us and the Lord. It's not like community, and so that can be kind of hard. But Avery and I definitely have a lot of experience of just like slow seasons with the Lord, like what that looks
Truly
like.
sitting and staying at his feet.
Literally. So anyway, I did some questions on my Instagram just of what the podcast, like some questions for the podcast. We have a lot of fun questions. There's a lot of questions about YWAM, so I'm going to make a next podcast episode about YWAM and answering all those questions. So if you guys are curious of just putting a question or have any question relating really anything, I'm going to in the next few days, next few weeks, be posting on my Instagram, so just keep an eye out for that, for the question box to pop up. But one of my good friends actually asked a really good question that I was really surprised about. Brooks asked, the fulfillment in being in the stillness of his presence. That
So good.
is so good. And
Gives me chills.
like Avery, genuinely, I feel like Avery has a lot of experience in that.
Years.
She's had
years.
Yeah, just a lot of time in the Lord's presence and just soaking at his feet and like pouring it all out. And so yeah, I don't know, Avery, what do you feel like when you're in areas of being in stillness? Like, how do you feel like you go about that or process it? Or like, what are ways that you feel like you struggle in, but then like how the Lord meets you? Yeah, really just anything that you feel like you have experience on or that you feel led to share on that topic.
I think first off, the biggest thing that I would say is it takes effort, 1,000,000%. And I feel like your mind always goes to, oh, like it shouldn't take effort. Like my relationship with the Lord shouldn't have to be like I'm making myself sit in his presence. But in quiet seasons where he isn't super like audible, you have to literally make yourself like sit in his presence. Like truly, there is a season in my life that the Lord told me to sit in the quiet place every evening for like a month. And so I made a prayer closet. And every single evening from 9 o'clock on, I would sit in my prayer closet and listen for the Lord. And it sometimes really stunk because I had to say no to plans and I had to say no to so many things. I left plans early. Like a lot of my friends were like, Avery, what the heck is going on? But the amount of fruit that they came out of that season of truly just being like, Lord, here I am. Like, what are you showing me? It teaches you that the Lord can show up and answer you in so many different ways. Because every single night that I was in my closet, it looked completely different. Some nights he was giving me visions, some nights he was giving me dreams. Like I would sit and I would pray over others. I would sit and pray in my notebook. And literally the majority of my testimony evolved from me sitting in that closet and understanding the Lord and hearing his voice. And I think it's so important to understand and capture what the voice of the Lord sounds like in the quiet, so then you can also take it into the loud seasons of your life. Because it's so hard to hear the voice of the Lord. I think something that's really underrated is trying to hear the voice of the Lord in the quiet, because it's obviously so quiet. You're like, what is happening? But being able to learn that when the seasons are loud and fun and awesome and big, you can still hear his whisper in there because you've learned to identify what that sounds like.
That's fire. Yeah. Two things that you said on that was you were talking about here being in his, like the stillness of his presence before going into the busy seasons, and then you said I don't know, you said something else that was really good. Hopefully it'll come back to me, but I think that's it's very underrated of like people don't realize the like another thing you said, you were talking about it's hard to be in a season where you're not hearing his voice. So I'll circle back to that. I have a little story to share with you guys on that. But yeah, I feel like it's really underrated. Just I would say the beauty, but also like the need of being in his presence and like stirring depth and having deep wells with the Lord that is away from the stage, and that's away from the microphone, and that's away from the platforms
The
or
community.
the community or the small group or the Bible study. It's like those things are so amazing. It's a gift from the Lord, but we as a culture and like as I feel like Gen Z idolize the stage and the audience more than the intimacy with the Lord.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just such a good reminder of like people almost look at like the intimacy as like, oh, that's the hard part, that's the part that I don't care about, but I care about the stage. And it's like that actually is the beauty. That's what the Lord is calling us to before. Like Jesus desires for our heart, for like our hands and what we're doing for him. And I feel like I just feel like as like Gen Z, and I feel like as this generation, like we almost forget that beauty. And even I forget that beauty sometimes. Like that is so much more important, that those seasons, those evenings that you have had in your closet and those times with the Lord and that the morning coffee with Jesus is so much more important than literally any form of like I don't know, stage, community, microphone, audience, like attention that like any of that could give, you know?
The secret place builds your entire foundation for the fruit you bear in public.
Yeah.
And for your calling and for the people around you, like, I know we all see those people at church or the influencer was like, oh my gosh, like, they have so much fruit. That is built in the secret place. You have to you have to sow your soil in the rough times, because that's rough and it takes effort for sure. And you have to plant your seeds, and it takes time and it takes major babying. Like you got to baby your little plant. Like you got to grow it, you got to water it. Like it's like growing a tree. Like you have to have the space and the season to put your full heart into working to be able to have fruit to bear.
100%. Yeah, and then something else you were talking about like with your story and all that is you were like it's really hard to be in a season where you're not hearing the Lord's voice, you know, that slow season, because that also isn't talked about enough of like that's
it happens
hard.
all the time.
It happens all the time. I have another thing I want to go back to, but also I feel like too social media highlights what the Lord's speaking and highlights the glamorous and the beauty and all that, but it's not highlighted, it's not shown the hard seasons with the Lord, going through hard seasons of like tilling and pruning and not hearing him, but still having to choose to meet with him and be in his presence but not feeling anything. It's like choosing to do the action but without getting the reward. Like people don't talk about that enough. And it also, going back to that, there's a story that with YWAM, my brother did YWAM, and it's like a youth like outreach thing. And so he went on a missions trip, and he went to South Africa, and there was this guy that was like, he's been living life with the Lord for like 40 years, and he has like a beautiful relationship with the Lord. And so my brother was like, hey, like, what do you do? Like, how do you go about the seasons that you don't hear the Lord's voice? And his response was so beautiful, because he said, he was like, that's my favorite season with the Lord. Because oh my gosh, I literally like could cry right now. Like, oh my gosh. He literally was like, that's my favorite season with the Lord, because I get to choose to meet with him while not receiving anything.
Yeah.
And I get to choose to do the hard work, because it's so easy to meet with him when you're receiving.
Yeah.
Of course you want to. Like, everyone would want that. That's so fleshly. But you have to choose to meet with him when you're not feeling his presence, when you're not hearing his voice, when you're not feeling the Holy Spirit, like, worship chills, when you're just sitting and you're like, this is so hard, because I want to be scrolling on my phone, or I want to be hanging out with friends, or I want to be numbing the pain by doing anything else than just sitting here in silence. But that was his favorite season with the Lord, because he got to show him, like, he got to worship him without getting something in return. And I feel like, too, something my brother also said one time, he was like, I never wanted to raise my hands in worship if I wasn't feeling the presence, because I thought that was fake. And then he had the revelation that actually I should never raise my hands, because no, my camera died.
It's okay. This is the lone one.
Okay, well, we lost the other angle,
We lost
but
the camera.
we're gonna keep going.
It's
but
the devil.
it's
I
the
rebuke
devil.
that
I
in Jesus'
rebuke
name.
it right now. But yeah, it's just crazy, because he was just like, I should never be worshiping Jesus from feeling something on myself.
Yeah.
Like, I should be worshiping Jesus because he's worthy of it, and he's worthy of my praise. So I'm gonna raise my hands and I'm gonna worship him despite how I feel or how I'm receiving. And I thought that was really beautiful.
Your quiet time and the ways you step into the Lord's presence. Obviously, the Lord's presence is always with us, but like, wait.
Sit, listen.
I think the foundation of your relationship and the quiet time that you enter with the Lord should never have the mindset of being transactional. You should never go in because you're sad and you need relief, or because you need peace. Obviously, the Lord loves us so deeply that he wants to give that to us. He doesn't like to see us suffer. He's not over here like, sucker, like, I'm not giving you anything. But when there's that pure love and worship from your heart of being like, I'm showing up when I'm sad, I'm showing up when I'm happy, I'm showing up when I'm filled with despair, I'm showing up when I'm mad at you. Like, it should never be transactional. I give you my time and my worship and you give me something in return. There are so many times I leave my quiet time still feeling discouraged, still feeling like I'm in the valley and he just left me here. But bringing the Lord into those seasons of like, Lord, I don't hear you. I feel you because you're here always, but I miss your voice so deeply. And coming out into a heart of like, I see you for how good you are, and my heart is still overflowing with gratitude, but I do miss your voice. Because he's a friend, and because it's like, it's such like a relationship base, and so you're allowed to have the emotional side of like, Lord, I haven't heard you speak in months, like, can you come back? Or like being able to like to give him your fruits still, even if it's you literally just being like, I miss you so much. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And your prayers don't have, like, please don't have your prayers be performative. Like, please don't be like, I don't feel like I should journal this or pray about this because it's messy and it's scary. And like, there are so many prayers in this notebook that's me talking to the Lord and being like, what the frick, dude? Like, hello, like, what's happening? Like, where am I going? What are you doing? Why can't I see you? But it being in here is an act of worship and an act of me still building my relationship with the Lord, because I'm not withholding it, because I'm not praying in here being like, you're so good, you're so sovereign, I love you so much. Obviously, I still pray that, but I bring every single thing to the Lord. I bring my anger and my sadness and everything, and it invites him into the process, and it just builds a relationship, because not all relationships are perfect, and a lot of the trust and love and reverence is coming from when he takes you out of the valley because you've invited him into the valley with you.
That's fire. Yeah, I feel like too, just going back to the whole like social media and highlight thing, and like, guys, I do social media as my full-time job. Like, I'm not hating on social media, but there is a part of it that is lacking, which is like showing the real part and showing the hard part. And that's what I'm trying to do on this podcast, is show more of that, kind of create a space for that. But I feel like people I guess, like, think that it's not normal to hear his voice, to go through a season of not hearing his voice. And even, like, I go to, like, a young adult small group, and there was this girl referring to the fact that she was, like, a newer Christian, but she was just like, oh, I feel like this isn't, like, normal for everyone to be going through this season where you're not hearing the voice. And I feel like it is normal. Like we are promised to not always hear his voice, but what we are
Especially on
promised,
earth.
yeah, especially on earth. Oh my gosh, like we're gonna live eternity with him one day. It's gonna be perfect, and like everything's gonna be amazing. Like that's promised. But what we're not promised is having butterflies and rainbows all the time on earth.
Mm-hmm.
This is our chance to worship him
The
through the
majority of
pain.
our time on earth is trials
Yeah.
to prove our genuineness and
Mhm.
faithfulness to Him.
100%. Yeah, anyway, I just feel like, I don't know, what you were sharing like really highlighted it to me. It's like, guys, it's so normal to go through a season of not hearing his voice. And bringing him in on it, and bringing him in on, like, God, like, just like what Avery was saying, like, God, like, I miss you. Like, I miss hearing your voice. I'm angry.
Being honest with Him
Yes.
and yourself.
Yes. Like, I just feel like honesty, like, Avery's so good at that. Like, she's able to be in tune with her emotions and bring it to the Lord. And I feel like that's something that you said like a banger, like, don't be performative for God. Like, don't let your prayers be performative. Like, that is so, like, that's exactly what God doesn't want us to do, is be performative. Because, guys, like, let's be so for real. Like, he knows what we're thinking. He knows what we're
already
feeling
knows.
before we even feel it. So honestly, we're just not being honest with ourselves.
Why are you withholding that?
Like, we're not being honest with ourselves if we can't be honest with God. And so, yeah, just an encouragement. Like, be so real with the Lord and bring it all to Him. Because in that, when you are honest with yourself, He meets you there. And it looks different for everyone how He meets you. Like, it's not going to be a verbal voice and He's like, oh, sorry, like, I'm back. He's going to meet you in other ways. He's going to meet you through other people. I feel like you have had a lot of stories where the Lord maybe isn't vocal with you, but that He meets you in a moment through other people. Can you think of any of those moments? Even like at SAU, or like certain things that you feel like you've experienced.
Where it's not like the audible voice of the Lord back,
like,
but still speaking to me.
Yes, we were like, maybe I didn't hear the audible voice, but I feel like this is the way that He's trying to communicate with me or show me something.
Yeah, I've definitely gone through a lot of quiet seasons, but I always tell people, like, my quiet seasons doesn't mean the voice of the Lord is void. I just haven't heard His voice in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an entire 5 months that I didn't hear the audible voice of the Lord. But that was literally the time I was in my closet. Like, He showed up and taught me more in the seasons that I didn't hear His voice because it wasn't His audible voice. I think our human nature goes to, I'm hearing the Lord, obviously it's audible, it's in my ears, or it's like His voice. And I know some people don't audibly hear the voice of the Lord, but like, that you hear His voice.
When you have your own personal way of hearing the Lord and you're not receiving that consistently. So it doesn't have to be audible voice if that's not how you heard the Lord, but the way that you hear the Lord, if that's not consistent, that's hard. But go back into what your story.
The biggest way that I still felt His presence and still felt Him speaking to me when I couldn't hear His voice was praying in a notebook and writing it down. I found myself answering my own questions and my own prayers as the Holy Spirit like kind of like took over. Like when the Holy Spirit like
dwells on you,
was dwelling on me, I would then write everything and I'd go back through and I'd have a revelation and be like, oh my gosh, like there's this one time I hadn't heard the voice of the Lord in a long time, and I was praying about, I don't remember what I was praying about. I was praying about something. Oh, I wish I could remember. I was praying about something and having an answer. I was praying about two things and seeking an answer for both of those. And I wrote it, and then I wrote the other question, and I felt the answer for the first question, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was sitting there and I just heard I didn't hear the voice of the Lord, but like I felt the peace settle over me of what I was supposed to do. I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like, okay, I was like, Lord, what about the other one? And I went back through my notebook and I realized I wrote the other question twice, and Lord was like, I answered that, and you wrote that twice because that's the answer for both. And I literally sat there and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm definitely missing parts of my story because I don't have it in this notebook, unfortunately. It's in the other one. So I wish I could like go back and tell you guys exactly. But I feel like that was my most like cool. And obviously the Lord speaks through like other people and just like other people's stories and testimonies, I think also spoke to me a lot of like when they're sharing what they're struggling with or what the Lord's talking to them. I feel like the Lord uses that. That's why it's important to be confident and be bold in what the Lord's teaching you, because that's a quiet season for another person that just gave them a little bit of encouragement. The Lord's going to bring them out of it.
That's so good. Yeah, my goal is to keep these episodes a little bit shorter just so you guys feel like it's not overwhelming. It's a little bit easier for just to kind of get in the groove of things, kind of get familiar with each other a little bit more. So I think honestly we'll probably cut it off here with like continuing to balance, but do you feel like you have an encouragement or a highlight or even like the Handlebar podcast? Love their podcast and they always have at the very end like their handlebar. Obviously I'm not gonna say that, but like what is your highlight or your encouragement that you want to give someone on the other side of the screen?
Hmm. I would say something that helped me is that it always passes. Like time is literally always going, and it's a little bit daunting. It's a little bit scary how literally time never stops. But on the good side of that is that season will always pass.
Yeah.
Always. And there not be another season with the same situations on the end of it, and you go into another one, but it's gonna be in a different way always. Like it never, each season doesn't stay exactly the same. So there's always little bits and pieces to grab onto and really hold on to that. Hold on to your friends, hold on to the people, even if it's just like, I went through a big season where I only had like a couple close friends, but I held on to them so tight and they really encouraged me and got me through. So hold on to the things that the Lord has already given you. And just because the Lord is quiet doesn't mean his presence isn't with you, because he never leaves you. And it might feel alone and it might be so deathly quiet that like your ears hurt. You know when it's really quiet that your ears hurt? But he's always right beside you. Sometimes he's right beside you smiling down and you're like, this is exactly what I wanted. And you're like, what? But
that's so good. I would say my encouragement bouncing off of Avery's is just like each season has its purpose and each season is for a reason, and that don't rush through the season that you're in right now if it's really good or really bad. Like be in the moment with the Lord and take advantage of being in the secret place with him in the season that you're in right now.
Yeah.
Bring him, whether this season is so joyful or so heartbreaking or angry or happy. Like bring every emotion to the Lord and lay it at his feet and genuinely take such advantage of the season that you're in right now, despite what season it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through so many hard seasons with the Lord, but what I think is so beautiful is it was just a season. It was just a few months.
And there's always fruit from it.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. That's also another encouragement. When you are going through a hard season, I'm going to tell you, the fruit is so much sweeter on the other end. Like, when you go to the grocery store and you, like, pick up a banana and it's, like, kind of hard and it's, like, tacky and you're like, this is gross. Like, that fruit doesn't come from those hard seasons. The sweet, perfect, like, ripe, juicy, like, fruit takes so much time, and that's going to come out of a hard season. And so whether it's hard or quiet or still, like take advantage of the season that you're in and continue to seek the Lord, even if you're not hearing him, asking him questions, talking to him, building that relationship. This is kind of funny, but I feel like the best friendships are the ones you can just be in silence with.
Right? I was literally just about to say this. There's been so many times where I get so tired, which sounds so awful, and there's so much guilt that comes with that, but don't be guilty about that, of being like, I feel so exhausted of giving my all to so many people and not receiving anything back. But like I said, it shouldn't be transactional with the Lord. But being able to sit in the Lord's presence and be like, Lord, I'm sorry, I cannot read my Bible right now. I'm so exhausted, or I don't even think I can like even find the words to pray. Here I am. Please come dwell with me. And there's been times I literally just sit on my floor with my eyes closed and I just sit there. Sometimes I fall asleep. Sometimes I don't. But being able to rest with the Lord, it gives you the Lord knows you need rest. Like that's a big thing with the quiet season too. I think the quiet season is so draining. You get so exhausted. The Lord just wants to rest with you.
He does. Yeah, and just like, guys, no one likes a friend that you feel like you always have to fill the silence with. Like, when you feel like you have to entertain a person or you have to constantly talking about something or else it's like awkward. That's not how the Lord works. God, I was reading a passage the other day in the end of John, and he was like, you guys are my friends. You guys are my best friends. Like, I love you guys like my friends.
How cool is that? That we're Jesus' best friend?
That's precious.
What?
I can literally cry. Like, that's actually
he's
precious.
so cute.
He's actually the best thing ever. Like, I actually love him so much. Sometimes I'm just like, he's so cute. Like, oh my gosh. No,
Okay,
I
wait, this is
actually love
completely side tangent. Do you ever feel maternal towards Jesus?
it. What?
Do you ever feel like maternal?
Wait.
Like, do you ever feel like, aw, like, there's so many times where
If
I'm
I
reading through the
read
Gospels,
the Gospels.
and I feel so maternal towards him, and I'm like, you're just a human and a baby, and you're
Oh my
so
gosh.
cute, and you did that all for me, and I feel maternal. Like, I want to nurture him and care for him.
That's actually I feel like maybe like in a lot in Matthew, like maybe like from 32 backwards. I feel maternal towards him. Like,
no.
once he starts doing the big boy
Once
stuff,
he
I'm like,
starts,
okay,
like,
you take
oh
that.
my gosh, you're like, I'm in awe
You're
of you,
God.
but like little
when
him,
you're
I'm like,
God. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Before it's his time and before he reveals himself, I'm like, no, you're just so perfect.
So
like
cute.
you're so
no, because
cute.
he's actually perfect. So it's like,
No.
aw.
And I think it's so beautiful too. He put that maternal side in us, and it's like we feel that towards him.
I know. It's because we're in touch. That's another good podcast idea that you should do. Is the value of a traditional woman.
Oh, maybe we should do that. Wait, maybe me, you, Molly, and Eva could do that.
Yeah, so in summer.
That could be real cool. Okay, guys, we have a lot of really fun ideas coming up. We have 2 more like best friends. There's 4 of us, and oh my gosh,
We're gonna
the
be our
wisdom.
guys. We yapped for 2 entire days straight. Obviously, we slept and ate, but that's it.
Yeah.
It was what,
Yeah.
36 hours of talking?
When? Last trip or the trip before?
No, the weekend.
Yeah.
We talked
Yeah.
and we got food and then we came back and talked.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do any activity. We didn't watch a show. We
Yeah.
didn't listen to music. We literally just talked.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we had all gone through crazy seasons. I think it had been almost a year since we had like seen each other.
All been reunited.
I think it had been like 9 months. I was in YWAM. Our friend Molly, she was a staff at YWAM, so she had a whole team. Avery and Ava, they were
together.
preparing, and they were going through a hard season with themselves, but they also were preparing. They signed up for a while, and like there were so many fun things that happened. So we were like, we had a lot of
We cried. We laughed. We ate cake.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not the point.
This is off topic. Our friends are full of wisdom,
They're
and
awesome.
they have a lot to share. So catch us in the next few months. In the end of July, we'll be with them. So yeah, maybe
Right before school starts. Get some
sometime
good
in
wisdom.
August. Keep an eye out for that episode. I just encourage you guys, seek the Lord even in. I was saying like being in silence with friends is beautiful.
Yes.
So don't feel like your relationship with the Lord needs to
Don't
constantly
host. Don't entertain.
Yes, don't entertain
Sit.
the Lord. Don't feel like you need to host him. Don't feel like you need to constantly talking. Like just sit in his presence,
And
strum
please
a guitar.
listen.
Yes, listen to the Lord. And because also I feel like too, sometimes we think that we're in a quiet season, but really we're just not listening.
We're just filling the space and be like, all right, good night. And then he's like, dude.
He's like,
I wanted
"Bro,
to answer you.
I was gonna tell you the
Yes,
answer.
That
but
is
you
my.
didn't even listen.
That's the biggest root, I think, or foundation laid of like the quiet season of being. I obviously
I
this
could cry.
earlier,
You
but
know what I just had the thought of?
what?
This is so sad.
No.
Imagine like going to coffee with like a new friend. You're like, oh, I'm so
And then
excited
you
to
talk
go."
about yourself the whole time, and you're like, bye.
No, like actually think about that. Like you go
That
to
makes
no.
me.
Wait, don't interrupt
Sorry.
me. Let me finish my topic.
sorry.
Imagine going to coffee with someone, like an old friend, right? And you're sitting there and they are talking the entire time. And you're like, no, I love you. Like, I really want to hear about you, but I also would like love to maybe like give you some input or invite or like
Wisdom.
maybe tell you about like how my week was
Yeah.
or about like, like I also had a year. I had the last year too of life. Like, I'd love to tell you a little bit about my life. And they're like, okay, I gotta go. Like, I have a meeting. Like, bye, I love you. That's so sad. That's actually awful. And you wouldn't want to be friends with that person. Obviously, the Lord loves us so much, and he would never deny us because of that. But
I think he just laughs at us.
he just probably is like, girl, you're freaking out. You're not even
I'll wait
listening
until
to
next
me.
time.
Like, okay, I'll wait for a few weeks until you actually listen to me. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Listen.
Guys, listen to the Lord. Take time to just hear his voice. Take time to just listen. That's so underrated. We don't talk about that enough.
And even a simple prayer of like, Lord, here I am. Speak to me in a way that I can understand.
That's good.
And just.
That's really good.
And then you wait.
I think it was 10 minutes ago we said let's end this.
The
We gotta
one thing
end
about
this.
us is we love to yap.
We love to yap, and I feel like the Holy Spirit really met us because we had no idea what we were going to talk about.
And we just talked for 30 minutes straight.
30 minutes. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to end this here, guys. I love you guys.
I'll see you again. Don't you fret.
Avery will be back for several episodes, hopefully. I very much enjoy having guests on. I feel like that's going to be a really good opportunity for the Lord to speak through other people than just me, because the Lord loves speaking through everyone. And so, yeah, Avery will be back on. Don't you even worry. And yeah, you got anything to say?
Good luck.
Good luck.
We love you.
I love you guys. We're different. Avery does this, and I do this.
It's because it's an actual, like, organ heart, but also, like, a little heart.
Me and Avery are like the same person, but completely. Like, we have a lot of similarities, but we're very different.
Even in our personality. Sorry, we have to end this.
Okay, bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.